To the good God Shri, may the land remain in his descendants' care, the fields undisturbed, the temple kept with offerings. You can almost picture those letters gouged into warm sandstone, the edges softened by monsoons. You can almost feel the chisel's score under your fingertip. What does a single carved line tell us that a ruin, a roofless gallery, or a stray pot shard never could?
Inscriptions give us names, obligations, exact phrases, and, importantly, who was expected to act. The layers matter. Legal language and devotional language sit side by side. The evidence shows us law and memory carved to outlast generations.
Right. Welcome to Ancient Echoes. I'm Samnang, and Rachana is with me. Today we read the stones, how carved dates, dedications, and brief notes hold the rhythms of everyday life and official power across centuries. We'll move between lofty royal pronouncements and the tiny marks a pilgrim left on a doorway. By the end, I hope you won't hear inscriptions as dead records, but as conversations meant to be heard.
Exactly. And we'll show how scholars stitch paleography, archaeology, and oral memory together to read those conversations. First, a quick primer on scripts. Inscriptions appear in Old Khmer, sometimes Sanskrit, and they follow certain formats: dedications, land grants, royal edicts, memorial lines.
Paleography is our basic clock. Letter shapes shift over decades. A curled stroke here or an extra loop there is a chronological fingerprint. Combine that with context, where the stone was found, associated pottery, temple architecture, and a date range emerges.
Right.
Let me give a concrete anchor. Think of Angkor Wat's foundation context under Suryavarman II in the early 12th century. The inscriptions connected to that period list land, personnel, and ritual obligations. They tie the king's grand project to rice fields and named families. A king's claim becomes a map of everyday labor.
And for a provincial example, consider the Astok Kok Tom inscription from the 10th century. It records administrative claims and family names and shows very clearly how local and royal intersect. Those stones help us see the bureaucracy behind piety.
Which is remarkable when you stand at a lintel and read a line that literally tells you who must bring rice at harvest. It flips abstraction into human detail, a named person, a duty, a season.
Listen, those clauses show obligations, labor services to temples, dispute resolutions, exemptions. The research tells us the language is precise because these were enforceable arrangements. They mattered to people living on that land.
I remember crouching over a broken stele where a line mentioned a family's right to use irrigation canals. So practical. You could almost see them hauling bamboo baskets. Those small details are what make inscriptions pulse.
Oh, we should also flag a methodological point. Inscriptions often use Sanskrit for sacred formulae and Old Khmer for administrative detail. That bilingual texture is not decoration, it's purposeful. Sanskrit lends sanctity, Khmer does the everyday governance.
That's where nuance enters. A king's dedication reads cosmic, but the same complex lists rice plots and who waters them. The sacred and the mundane are braided together. Devotion funds administration, and administration makes devotion possible.
Let's talk about smaller marks for a moment. Graffiti. Not spray paint, but carved names, dates, or short prayers left by pilgrims or artisans. Initially, many scholars dismissed them, yet when cross-checked, they sometimes open windows into mobility and personal piety.
Right. A pilgrim's scratched name on a doorway can, when matched to other records, tell us about journeys, seasonal pilgrimage routes, or even family networks. It makes the past messier, and to me, more human.
I have to push back a bit. I'm not sure I buy the idea that every graffito meaningfully expands our picture. Many are fragmentary, ambiguous, or misread. Epigraphers use grammar checks, paleography, and context before elevating a scratched mark to evidence. That rigor matters.
Fair, and I love the pushback. We balance excitement with method. So we test. If a scratched name fits a family roster on a nearby stele, the fragment gains weight. If not, we file it as a tantalizing possibility. It's part detective work, part patient cross-checking.
Exactly. Provisional and cautious. We label things accordingly in publications. The pattern shows us how careful collaboration keeps interpretation honest.
Let me split into a very small case study and cut you off if you want to jump in. I was reading an Angkor Wat related dedication and then...
Wait, which inscription exactly are you pointing to?
Good catch. I'm thinking of the foundation context linked to Suryavarman II's projects, those catalogs of gifts that list villages, land areas, and ritual duties. One line described a plot that must provide rice every harvest to a shrine, a moment where a royal program touches a family's pantry. That makes chronology and daily life inseparable.
And in provincial texts like Stoke Tom, we see administrative formulas that include local officials' names, helpful anchors for mapping authority beyond the capital. Those inscriptions are structural. They show how governance and rituals circulated outward.
Technical challenges deserve a moment too. Stones erode, letters vanish. After a heavy season, conservators sometimes wipe a lintel and reveal faint strokes that were invisible for decades. Those moments feel like rediscovering a voice. Epigraphers use squeezes, multispectral images, and collaboration with local museums to reconstruct gaps.
Yes, lacunae, gaps, are normal. We annotate them carefully and avoid filling them with wishful readings. Community knowledge matters here. Oral memory can supply names or customs that clarify a fragment. The cultural significance is communal, not merely academic.
Practical tips for listeners who visit. Look at lintels, fallen steles, and museum displays. Photograph respectfully, no touching, and note the exact spot. If you share an image online, include the site name and a short description. And if you want visuals that pair inscriptions with translations, check my YouTube channel, where I map photos to lines.
If you photograph inscriptions, please date the photo and note the location or gallery reference. When you post, add context so scholars and communities can use the image, site name, visible script, and any museum label. That kind of documentation helps preservation and research.
To make sharing simple, tag your post with hashtag Ancient Echoes Inscriptions and include site name, visible script, Old Khmer, Sanskrit, and date of your photo. Example caption template, Angkor Wat lintel, Old Khmer script visible, photo 2026-0315. We'll reshare compelling examples and link to scholarly resources.
Before we close, a final thought. Inscriptions are not neutral transcripts. They record choices. Who is named, who is left out. The scholarly insight reveals that only by pairing stones with archaeology and oral memory do we approach a fuller, more humane picture of the past.
So, takeaway. Read inscriptions as conversations across time. Official claims, family obligations, and personal marks all rubbing up against each other. Stand at a lintel, read a line, and remember, someone carved that sentence to be heard long after they were gone. That sense of continuity is powerful.
If this episode sparked your curiosity, follow the translations and projects we mentioned and support local scholars and museums who steward these stones. The research tells us that sustained, careful attention changes what we see etched in the rock.
If you enjoyed this episode, please follow Ancient Echoes on your favorite podcast app. Tag your inscription photos with hashtag Ancient Echoes Inscriptions, and check my YouTube channel for image-based translations and maps. Share one photo with the site name, visible script, and photo date. We'd love to see how the stones speak to you.
That brings us to the end of this episode. We hope these stories helped you see Cambodian history and culture in deeper, more human ways. The research shows us that listening carefully to stones, to people, and to memory transforms history into connection.
The echoes of the past live on in people's voices, memories, and everyday lives. Thank you for listening and for making space for these stories. Let's unlock the echoes of history together.
If this episode resonated with you, please follow Ancient Echoes on your favorite podcast app and share it with someone who might appreciate these conversations. Until next time, thank you for listening to Ancient Echoes.
In the quiet of night, I whispered my plea, holding her close, hoping for her decree. I called upon spirits, asked them to guide, to take her heart and lead her by my side. So I drew her near, traced her brow so fair, on my sight this way. Om sacred power, Swahai, mighty spirit awaken. By the master's right, let her heart be gently taken. Let her follow me now by vow and by sign. Right here, these words, oh teacher, witness this plea. Oh, my sacred power, Swahai.